We're back to our SBER Hub for another session, Foodtech on the edge of the consumer behavior revolution, with ELENA IVANOVA, VP of Marketing Demand and Sales at SberMarket, IGOR ROZHKOV, CMO at Samokat, and OLEG KHAUSTOV, Chief Growth Officer at Delivery Club, moderated by ARTEM ABRICHKIN, leading technological scout at SBER.
Good afternoon, everyone, and we have over 6,000 people watching us online, and thanks everyone for joining in person. So that's today's subject, Foodtech on the edge of consumer behavior revolution. Let me introduce our guest once again, ELENA IVANOVA, SberMarket Marketing and Sales, Chief Marketing Officer of Samokat, Igor ROZHKOV, and we have OLEG KHAUSTOV, Chief Growth Officer from Delivery Club. Dear colleagues, thanks very much for coming. Let me introduce myself. My name is ARTEM ABRICHKIN. I'm a leading tech scout in SBER, and I'm scouting for projects for SBER and ecosystem. Also, we're soon launching a new online platform for investors and startups, and we'll be doing scouting for it too. So let us move on to the questions. And I guess the first question that is asked frequently, but it's nonetheless interesting. So please tell us about your experience in launching in Foodtech, what kind of challenges you had, how products changed since you launched, maybe some unexpected turns. Yeah, easily. I'll introduce myself once again. My name is ELENA, and SberMarket is the company that delivers the products from the favorite grocery stores, supermarkets, hypermarkets. And we had three key challenges. The first one happened 2 years ago because people didn't understand why you need the delivery if you can just go there yourself. And we had to explain the advantages being that you don't have to stick in traffic jams, and then you have to fish for extra Kinder Surprises and other stuff that you didn't plan to buy for. So that was the challenge. And the next challenge was happening to everyone at the same time. At the beginning of 2020, when part of people were sitting in quarantine, and in 3 months' time, we had to roll out the service in the whole of Russian Federation. And back then, we were present only in Moscow, St. Peter, and a couple other two cities. And how you work with other people, cities with population of 1 million people, and so on, and how you roll out in 80 cities in 3 months' time. It was crazy, but we fortunately succeeded. And the next challenge is something that we are having now. The number of companies who are working in this market and give the opportunity to deliver them, 2 years ago, you could have counted them with your fingers of one hand, and now all of us can raise our hands, and it won't be enough. Those fingers won't be enough to count them. But, competition is good. It makes the market healthier, and it improves the service, and it's better for the consumer. So you can say that if we talk about other businesses, then the demand dropped, and there are fewer competitors because of the pandemic. But in your company, it was vice versa. Yeah, vice versa, and it's still ongoing because the pandemic was like a breakthrough moment for our industry. And naturally, it's good, and it's something that determines the future growth and proper quality of the development. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the next question. Which processes were affecting the industry development during the last recent years? Maybe how dynamic changed within the last year. We were talking about COVID, but maybe there are some other trends and challenges apart from that. Maybe there are some new new happenings that we are not aware of, and maybe our viewers will be interested in those. Oleg? Yeah, naturally, COVID was a very powerful factor speeding all of us up. And Delivery Club being a big aggregator, it delivers pre-cooked food and groceries and so on. But what we are seeing now, COVID sped it up, but in reality, before COVID, globally and in Russia was growing, was developing crazily fast, and people were realizing how convenient it is to buy food with to get your food delivered and good cooked food delivered. You have to develop, and the mentality of people is changing. They're becoming adapting to online faster, and they see that online is the solution of many of your problems. You don't have lines. It gives you free time. I can see that people start using it everywhere, and 5 years ago, you tell someone you don't have to go grocery shopping, you don't have to drive to some supermarkets, and they'll deliver to you. People would have laughed. But now we are seeing that people are interested in that, and we are moving on, and they receive clear and direct value. So whether we had COVID or not, well, unfortunately, we had COVID, and it sped things up. But even if we didn't have COVID, in 1 or 2 years' time, the digitalization would have happened, both in retail, in restaurants, and so on. So you're saying that people come to understand the efficiency and the comfort of deliveries. Would you like to spend extra 10 to 15 minutes waiting for your coffee in line, or you want to drop by the business center and pick up the cup and you have your name of it and not waiting for a second and so on? You don't have to wait for the barista. You don't have to look for change in your purse and so on. Yeah, thank you very much. And the next question that we'd like to discuss, it's quite and generic. How does food tech and retail tech affect the consumption culture in general? I mean about food consumption and purchasing processes. So digitalization is happening, and people get to understand how convenient and comfortable it is. Igor, maybe you can tell us more about how taste of people change and so on. Yeah, definitely the changes have happened, and I'd agree with Oleg. It feels that other industries are pushing for change too, and it used to be normal to wait for a taxi for 40 minutes. Now, if it's over 3 to 5, if it's more than 5 minutes, you go to a different app, and the changes that have happened within the last 5 to 7 years, they pushed this conservative part of our life for change. In terms of consumer habits, we are observing interesting changes to do with retail specifically. For instance, the basket, what people are buying, and the volume, how much they're buying. And we are delivering within 15 minutes time, so you don't have to plan what you'll be eating tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, on Friday, and so on. And that creates a different way of living when a person perceives his or her life differently. For instance, chicken. The whole chicken is number one in retail, because when you don't have enough food, you just freeze it, and when you don't have anything to eat, half of it you make a soup of, and then the other one is baked. And with these deliveries, then you don't have to buy a whole chicken and freeze it. And people allow themselves not to bother about everyday routine, and they can allow themselves to order something they want right now. So these are the behavioral factors that are affecting people now, and we are adapting to it. Okay, it's clear. And since people can buy food at any point of time, the average check, is it increasing or it's decreasing, or it doesn't change? So do they often more often, or we have an equation where you have the frequency and average check and a total amount of spending. Well, total amount of spending is clear. We understand how much people are spending to buy food on average. Well, of course, it differs from region to region. After the purchase number 20, the check amount decreases, but the frequency of purchases increases. Yeah, sounds very logical. Thank you. The next question. I think it would be interesting for all the companies. What's the difference between Russian and foreign reality in terms of consumption, in terms of markets? So the West and East are quite different to Russia. And what it's like in food tech? Well, I'll just be talking. Russia is going its own way, and we are not repeating the Western or Eastern way if we talk about food tech development. But we are borrowing interesting trends from Asia, America, and Europe. And I can share the information about some trends that are going to come to Russia in the near time. The first time that will have to come to us from China is shoppertainment, and we are seeing that in some applications when we are not just buying something online, but when the app in which we are buying online gives us some entertainment, and it replaces the trip to the shop in terms of emotional aspect of it. I think that all of us will end there amongst the media that allow you to create some easy entertainment. Also, joint purchase. When we get together with family or with friends, we get together and place a joint order, and we get a discount for it. And these are the trends that should come to Russia because they are very similar to our needs. We like to get entertained, and in Russia, we have this need to save money, especially in the regions. As for European and American experience, the speed. It's the speed. In China, they're ready to wait. In the US and the UK, while it's becoming faster and faster. And delivery in 2 days' time, it's just it's something totally crazy. Next day, no. Today, well, okay. Within 1 hour, well, maybe then it's okay. It's acceptable. So people are going with their life online, and some European countries are going there, and some states in the US, not all the USA. And we are moving there. And I think the laptops will die because it'll be possible to do everything with your phone. And last thing, and I really admire the English experience, and I think we are copying it. In England, Tesco is the coolest food tech company, and they have their supermarkets and their e-com and so on. And the UK is different to other countries. And in Russia, we have the combination of all the models. We have effective marketplaces, industrial suburbs like Delivery Club. We have Samokat, people who are delivering from small warehouses. So in Russia, all the formats are acceptable. All the formats in Russia are brought together. But how this format will be living together in 3 to 5 years' time, well, that's something intriguing, and I think it'll depend on us. Yeah, I agree with everything that was mentioned, and I'd add that I'm proud that some projects like Samokat appear with us, and then they start copy, and the rest of the world starts copying it. Like some Samokat version appears in New York or something, and Samokat is literally a kick scooter. And the trends that we are copying from the West and from the East, it's the individual consumption development. When a person consumes differently, not because you have a party, but because you want to have lunch. What'll I have for lunch? And if you take Dawn or Lemise, the Chinese giants, the average check is $2 to $3. They can order a bowl of soup, eat it, and that's it. And for them, it's no different to how they used to dine, just dropping by the restaurants. So this individual consumption is becoming very powerful. Thus, digitalization, when a person starts seeing this value, then that's what's happening. For instance, what we are copying from Asian experience is the digitalization of offline interaction with the restaurants. Like Meet One, it's 1/3. Booking, paying for the table. You come to the restaurant and everything is set. You eat, you leave tips, that's it. You don't waste your time there. But it's nice that many non-standard projects appear first in Russia and then they get copied. Why do you think Russia can test some solutions, some innovative solutions, something that's not there in other countries? It's about talents. No, seriously, I think that Russia, due to the internal competition for talents, and the competition is becoming stronger. You can see that there are more and more projects. Investors are paying more and more attention to this industry. And it used to be like half hobby. Well, food tech, I don't know. Let's see in 10 years' time. And those 10 years' time happened within 2 years, and there was a huge explosion, and we have to run and so on. So, competition, talents, good training, good university training. That's why those gems appear, those innovative projects. You try using our apps for food delivery and cooked food delivery, and try use some Westerns, and you can see that you lack functionality and so on. Yeah, quite an interesting opinion. And we have 5 minutes, and we have time for one other question. We were talking about trends and possibilities. Maybe you could tell us about some specific technologies or some specific verticals that may be now of interest for food tech industry, maybe some specific cases integrating something new, something real cool. Well, I can tell you about local delivery, because this is quite a big challenge that's tricky in terms of infrastructure. And when it happens, there are a lot of things go on top of it, because everyone is fighting for the last mile. And I think we are number one in the world in terms of drugstores. And you see that there is this overuse of infrastructure in terms of fast logistics. When you can receive something next day or in 15 minutes. Well, it's not about what we have. We are providing the last mile service, and I think that's the main trend. It's not the main business, but everything comes together here. Everything that we were discussing, we're talking about convenience and about people being used to receiving things in 2 days' time, and now it should be right now. So that's what we are offering. Any other technology that we haven't covered today? Yeah, lad. I think it's something very important that Oleg touched upon. Now online is online used to cover online, but now online is trying to cover offline. And if you're talking about food, well, this year we'll launch pickup from all the stores we are operating in. And now it's running in our partner network, Metro, and it's growing. Because for people, it's more convenient to order online, pick it up, and just go somewhere to the country house, to dacha, to friends and so on, parents. And online replaces part of the action that you had to carry out offline. And I think it'll be big, not only in food. Yeah, agree. Same trend, only for cooked food. And it's called takeaway, or in some cases, take and collect. And delivery became this flagman. 20,000 restaurants were joined. And, you know, food is turning to non-food little by little. For instance, in SberMarket, it's not only just traditional food. It's also pet food and delivery is also doing delivers from drugstores. And when we see that once the user tried the food delivery once, then being able to order non-food, receiving the same quality, using the same technology and so on, well, the advantage of it is clear. So I think that eventually this boundary between one and the other disappears, and we are providing this comfort to the person, convenience. Yeah, when people see that they get fast food delivery, they want to have good delivery in all the other spheres. Yeah,